Hey PJs, welcome back to another video. Today is restock day. I'm restocking my shop today at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, so 2 hours from when this video goes up. If you want to see better ASMR clips of all of these slimes, I've posted them on YouTube Shorts before I posted this video. They're also on my Instagram and TikTok. If you want to see the restock list, that's also on my YouTube community page and on Instagram. The first slime in this restock is Shroom Bloom. This is a white glue foam slime that is scented berries, bergamot, champagne, violet leaves, white amber, musk, and grass, and it comes with mushroom and flower Fimo slices. This foam slime was created with much softer foam beads than the normal type, so they're not like the harder type of foam that's normally in foam slimes. They're a lot softer and squishier, which creates a much softer texture in general, but it is still insanely crunchy and honestly has endless crunches and bubble pops to it, and it still inflates a ton. It is a full foam, but it isn't necessarily a packed foam because I know foam slimes tend to absorb the slime base over time, so in order to give it as much life as possible while still keeping it a full foam, it's not like super packed. I love every stage that this foam slime has. Even in the beginning, it still has a ton of crackles and bubble pops to it, and as you inflate it, it gets very bubbly and just like a super loud, perfect for ASMR type slime. I know that slimes that have a ton of different scents in them like this one can be overwhelming, but I promise all of the scents work really well together, and with that grass scent in there, it throws in like a nature curve, so it just smells very sweet, kind of magical and naturey, and really just reminds me of a huge open field. Even if you don't like foam slimes, I highly recommend trying this one because the softer beads just give it a whole new like outlook on foam slimes entirely. It feels completely different than just the regular foam beads that are added, and it is one of my favorite textures. This next slime is Bamboo Forest Floor. This is a thick and glossy slime that is scented like fresh bamboo with a hint of dirt. It is lightly colored green and comes with panda and leaf Fimo slices and green and brown plastic snow. As you see me mix in the add-ins, you will see that the color from the plastic snow does bleed into the slime. The plastic snow I did dye myself and it hadn't sat for very long, so once it gets to you guys, it will have dried out a lot more, so it shouldn't bleed as much. If it does, no big deal. It doesn't change the color of the base, so that's amazing, and still keeps some of that color in the plastic snow. This thick and glossy slime isn't your typical one that you're going to get from most shops. It does have a special ingredient in it that I actually discovered years ago by accident, and it made like a really thick slime with just like a nice puffy feel to it, and that's what I wanted to do for this one, but it is extremely thick, so it's one of those ones you're really gonna have to be patient with when you play with it. The more you play with it and fluff it up and inflate it and whatnot, it will get stretchier, but when you first start out, you probably will notice that it is very thick. And once you mix in the add-ins, you're going to get a thick and glossy slime with a slight hint of other texture in there from the plastic snow. And what's really nice about this one and that secret ingredient is usually when you start to inflate a thick and glossy slime, normally it just kind of gets bubbly and stuff, but this one not only gets bubbly, it gets very almost fluffy feeling as well, but still keeps those really loud bubble pops. If slimes tend to stick to you, or you're just looking for a holdable slime that isn't clay based, this is also a perfect option, again because of how thick it is. You can just fold it around in your hands and whatnot, and it shouldn't really stick to you because I am telling you this one is really thick. The next slime in this restock is homemade apple cider. This is an icy cream hybrid slime that is scented country apple, and it comes with apple Fimo slices. So this one actually has a story behind it. My parents used to have like this yearly thing where we would make homemade apple cider because my dad had an apple orchard, and it was one of my favorite days of the year. I remember I would get up and it was like a crisp, cool morning. I'd go outside, my dad's got a fire going. He has his like homemade apple cider grinder thing going, like it was a whole machine, and it was so cool. Like it would make apple cider. It was so fun to do. My mom would make us breakfast sandwiches and we'd work on that all day, and it made the best apple cider ever, and I miss it so much. Obviously we don't do it anymore, and I can't share that amazing apple cider with all of you, so I thought I would just try my best to share it with you in slime form. Like mentioned, it is an icy cream slime, so it's a mixture between an icy slime and a cloud cream slime. So basically it has the structure of a cloud cream slime, just with a bit more instant snow, and it does have a wet feeling to it because it is part icy slime. The slime starts out wet and sizzly like an icy slime, and the more you inflate it, it becomes more dry and crackly like a cloud cream slime. Do keep in mind, since it is on the wetter side, there is a chance that it will leave residue on your hands, like with the instant snow, which is really normal for wetter slimes because like that more activated instant snow tends to leave more residue, but it should be very minimal. The fourth slime in this restock is I Spy. It is a semi-coated, foggy, clear glue, crunchy slime that is scented tobacco and cashmere, and it comes with various add-ins and a random charm. This slime is inspired by I Spy books, specifically the White I Spy book, which if you look up I Spy, that's probably one of the very first things that's going to show up because that's like the most iconic book. But basically, if you've never seen those before, it's books where there's like pages of like just random things just like thrown everywhere, and your job is to find specific items. And I remember that book like so much when I was growing up. I loved doing it. It was one of my favorite pastimes, like when I really had nothing to do, especially in school. So I wanted to make a slime based on it. And you guys know me, I like slimes that have a bunch of random add-ins in them, so I wanted to do one of those as well, and I thought what better way than to do this type of slime. I know that the scent sounds really scary because it's scented partly like tobacco, but I promise it's not a bad scent. To me, honestly, this slime smells like a really old dusty book mixed with like a muskiness and sweetness. I promise it smells good. I also decided to call this one a crunchy slime instead of like a Fimo Crunch Bomb type of slime because it's not like fully packed like those are, because I wanted to give it the impression of the book, so when you stretch it out you get to see all the different kinds of add-ins, and it's up to you guys if you want to like sort through them and see how many different things are in here because I added a lot. This slime does have a thicker feel to it, but it does still inflate, and depending on which stage of inflation you're in, it has many variations of bubble pops because of how different the add-ins are. And the last slime for this restock is Black Rose Bouquet. This is a DIY clay slime that comes with a coated jiggly base slime that is scented Earl Grey tea and fresh cut roses, and it comes with 4 clay black roses and 2 leaf charms. Before you add in the clay for this slime, I definitely recommend playing around with the base a little bit. It's one of my favorite textures that I've ever made. So it is white glue base, but I still say that it's coated because it really doesn't stick to you. It's got that like really smooth feel to it, which is really nice. I also just like jiggly slimes. It's not like overly jiggly where it's like a water slime, but it's still like pretty jiggly but still holds its shape. It's just really nice. And if you guys remember one of my previous restocks, I had a similar slime to this one, and if you got to try that one, basically this one's like a thinner, more coated version of that one. If the base does come to you underactivated, which it could, I don't really know what the weather's gonna be like when these ship out. Unless it's like extremely underactivated, I would definitely recommend letting it be until you add in the clay, which can suck, but the clay is more prone to activating the slime, and if it doesn't activate it to where you need to go, then you can always activate it after that. I just want to make sure when you add in the clay it doesn't get like really hard or anything. Mixing in the clay is really easy. The clay is super soft, and once it fully mixes in, which while it makes this really cool marble effect, which I love. It mixes into a slight slay slime that's a dark gray, almost black in color, with really watery bubble pops, and it still keeps that slight jiggly base to it. I find this one really fun to play with. I love poking it because it has that jiggle to it. It's got my favorite bubble pops. Mixing the clay is one of my favorite things about this whole restock because I just love that marble effect so much. It looks great. A little biased because black and the grayscale are my favorite colors, so of course I like this one. And because of that coated base, it's really not going to stick to you like a lot of jiggly slimes tend to do. And as a bonus question, if you've made it this far, this slime was very lightly inspired by an anime, and if you can guess what it is, leave it down in the comments. There are two hints about it that may point you in the right direction. One is that the roses are black, and the second hint is that it is scented like Earl Grey tea. And with that, that is the end of this restock video, and I really hope you guys enjoyed. As a reminder, this restock goes live 2 hours after this video has been posted. Again, if you want to see ASMR clips, the restock list, they're on my YouTube Shorts community page, they're on my Instagram and TikTok. If you made it this far, let me know which slimes you plan on grabbing from this restock. Even if you aren't, let me know which one of these slimes was your favorite. I'm honestly so proud of how each and every one of these turned out, so picking a favorite is hard, but I'm not gonna lie, I Spy really has my heart. Now I am signing off, and I will see you guys in the next one.